I've spent the last few weeks going through all the discs that I have and categorizing them as understable, stable, or overstable in the categories of putter, approach, mid, fairway, control or hybrid driver, and in distance driver. And basically I would bring them out in groups, I would test them, I would try to figure out which one I liked the best, which one was through the best, most forgiving, had the best flight, the best true flight, and so forth. And I came up with what I consider to be like a perfect bag. That bag is now sitting over there, and I want to throw each one of the discs and explain what they provide that I'm looking for. First off, and there's really no reason to throw them, two Basegrip P model US's for putting. I do throw these occasionally, not very often, but they are essentially my putting putters, my straight throwing putter if I need a very straight shot that's not quite long enough for a mid-range. Maybe it's in that 220 to 240 range. I have a 750G PA4 that I absolutely love. This thing throws dead straight. If I put it on Annie, it'll go to the left. Or put it on Annie, it'll go to the right. Put it on Fade, it'll go to the left. It just throws great. It's a straight shot. It glides, it flies where I need it to, and whenever it hits the ground, it stops. In the approach category, I have two A2s. Both of them are 300. This one is severely beat up. You can probably see the shadowing on the top. This one is severely beat up. Its flight now is dead straight, maybe even a little turn, and then a hard finish at the end. This one is a little bit newer and has more of that kind of oppressively overstable, sweeping fade shot. Uh-oh, that was a bad shot. But maybe you could see it against the ground. It basically goes straight and then just fades off at the end. Here's the most overstable one. You can see pretty much right out of my hand, it's trying to get left. That one is great for forehands, it's great for backhands. I have a 400 Glimmer A2 that I may eventually replace that with. When it comes to mid-ranges, I carry 4. A retro fuse from Latitude 64. This gives me that long, straight, flat flight with a very late flip. A dynamic disc Lucid Bounty, which gives me that kind of a straight out of my hand, it turns over and then just keeps holding that turnover pan, finishes flat. 350G MX3 from Prodigy. This one is pretty much dead straight, flat, straight, point and shoot. It's like a longer version of that PA4. And then this one is one of my favorites. It's a Glimmer 400 Glimmer MX3 from 2019 World Championships, Pro Worlds. This one, if I throw it flat and hard, it'll stay there. It will not turn over, but if I put it on a little hyzer, it'll finish off to the left. So let's go least stable to most stable. You can see kind of a late flip over, understable flight, which is what I'm looking for from that disc. This one, the Bounty, is going to be a little less understable. It just kind of, and again, I didn't throw it very high, but it kind of goes out there, then rolls over to the right and holds that angle. Here's that MX3, the 350G. Dead straight, point and shoot. I put it on a little hyzer, so it had a little hyzer. And then this one. Oh, this one is the one I always reach for. 400 Glimmer MX3, so glidey. And I'm throwing them low, but hopefully you can see what's going on with them. Next, we go to the fairways, and I have 3. 400G F3, kind of a turnover, long distance shot. Bar stamp 400 F3, straight with some fade, and then a 400G FX2. This one is more overstable than the bar stamp F3 and is more forehandable than the other two. You can see that one turns over right into the tree. We have a little bit of a headwind, but not much. Here's the bar stamp. threw it on a little hyzer, it flips up to flat, glides, and the basket off in the distance that the disc just went past is around 330 from here, so probably around a 310 shot. And here is the 400G FX2. I've gotten it beat in enough that, yeah, thank goodness it come out of the tree. I've gotten it beat in enough that it flies relatively flat and stable, and then at the very end has that hard finish. I think of it essentially as a longer, pretty much a longer A2. That beat up A2 that I had, it's a longer version of those. This is my control driver, Duraflex Glow F Model S. And this is a 400 Cameron Colglazier H1 V2, more like a utility disc because this thing is so overstable. This is when I need long, straight distance that I don't need a lot of left and right deviation. And this is when I need to round the corner. These are my control drivers. And that tree, as you can see, is right in my way. Here's that H1 V2. This thing is so overstable. Very, very overstable. I have a West Side Discs Audi that is even more overstable than that. And then last but not least, the most fun, the distance drivers. 400 D3. When I've got a lot of room, I can really move the disc left and right, but I need maximum distance. This is what I consider understable. 400G X3, a little bit tighter line. I don't have as much left and right deviation, not quite as much distance. A 400 D1, very domey D1, so I can get it up to flat. It won't generally move to the right any. It'll pretty much just flip up to flat and then finish. And then super overstable 400 D1, it's translucent. This is pretty much my forehand disc. You can see the D3 roll to the right, catch itself up, and then scoot back to the left, and that is about 375. The basket, like I say, the basket off in the far distance is 330 from this mulch T-pad. Here's that 400G X3. You can see it flips up. Doesn't really have a lot of right-hand movement, and then just finishes. So again, if I need to hold a tighter line, I'm so glad somebody's deciding to run out their bike today. If I need to hold a tighter line, I'll use it. 400 D1. Okay, I yanked it over, but you'll notice it grabs itself, it pulls out some stability, hits the far tree and falls down. That one generally doesn't go to the right unless I just make a really bad shot. And then here's that 400 D1 that I use pretty much for forehands. That's gonna be hard for me to show you without being in front of the camera, but here goes. Threw it out with a little Annie, it catches up, smacks the tree, and pretty much embeds itself in the tree.